The final days of September hold a quiet power that few truly sense. Energy shifts, unseen forces align, and choices now carry weight far beyond the ordinary. Something is stirring beneath the surface, a threshold between the life you know and the awakening you are destined to embrace. Many walk this path blindly, unaware that a single mistake can fracture their spiritual progress. This mistake hides in plain sight. It is subtle, almost invisible, yet its consequences ripple through your mind, body, and spirit. Ignoring it now could delay years of inner mastery, leaving potential unfulfilled and clarity just out of reach. In this video, you will uncover the nature of this hidden mistake. You will learn how to recognize the silent patterns that block your awakening. Shaolin teachings and ancient wisdom reveal not just what to avoid, but how to harness the energy of these final days to transform your inner world. You will discover how your thoughts, habits, and even small daily choices quietly shape the path towards spiritual illumination. By the end, you will understand the subtle traps that catch the unaware and the practices that open doors to higher awareness. Each insight will guide you to act with discipline, courage, and clarity, essential qualities for those chosen to awaken. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire, where ancient wisdom meets modern mastery. Subscribe now to walk this path together, to learn the practices that strengthen the mind, focus the spirit, and ignite the fire within. Stay with me until the end, because the knowledge you gain here in these final days of September may determine the course of your awakening and perhaps the destiny you have long been seeking. A leaf does not fall from a tree without reason, yet often we fail to notice the quiet signals before it drifts to the ground. In the same way, the mistake that halts spiritual awakening is rarely loud or dramatic. It whispers, disguised as ease, as distraction, as the simple comfort of ignoring ourselves. Neglecting self-reflection, even for a single day, is like leaving a crack in a dam, small at first, but capable of flooding the mind with doubt and chaos over time. Shaolin masters have long taught that the spirit is forged in the subtle repetition of mindful acts. Every morning moment of awareness, every pause to examine one's thoughts, every breath taken with intention is a brick in the foundation of inner mastery. To skip these practices is to let the foundations weaken unnoticed until the weight of unexamined habits presses heavily upon the soul. This mistake thrives in silence. It does not announce itself with alarms or warnings. It grows when we fail to watch the mind's wandering, when we excuse impatience or harbor resentment without awareness. Like water seeping into stone, the effects are gradual yet profound. Over time, clarity dims, energy dissipates, and the subtle connection to higher guidance frays. The power of Shaolin wisdom lies in its insistence on discipline, not as punishment but as protection. The daily rituals, the quiet self-checks, the disciplined gaze inward, they are shields against the slow corrosion of spiritual vitality. By honoring these small practices, the chosen one maintains alignment with their purpose, cultivating resilience that endures even through chaos. Neglect them, and the path narrows, often without the seeker realizing how far they have drifted from the awakening they seek. Each moment ignored is a step away from the light. Each act of reflection is a return to the fire within. A mind left unchecked is like a pond disturbed by wind. Ripples distort the reflection, hiding what lies beneath. Our thoughts and emotions are mirrors showing the state of our inner world with perfect honesty. Joy reflects clarity. Anger reflects unrest. Fear reflects unresolved shadows. Yet most walk through life unaware of the images they carry, treating the mirror as decoration rather than revelation. When negative patterns are ignored, they do not vanish. Instead, they harden, crystallizing into habits that shape perception and action. Impatience, resentment, or self-doubt, if left unchecked, become invisible chains. Shaolin masters teach that the mind is like steel, flexible when trained, brittle when neglected. Each thought, each moment of awareness is a hammer shaping that steel. Ignored impulses and unchecked emotions slowly forge limitations that can block even the most determined seeker. Discipline of the mind is not a rigid exercise, but a gentle cultivation. Sitting with discomfort, observing the arising of anger or envy without reaction, watching the mind's wandering without judgment. These practices are the tools of inner mastery. They reveal the subtle distortions before they harden, allowing the spirit to move freely and with clarity. Awakening is not a distant event. It is a continuous alignment of mind, body, and soul. The reflections seen in the mirror of thought are guides, not obstacles. Treat them with attention, and the patterns that once threatened to imprison the spirit can become signposts of growth. The mind, when disciplined, becomes a silent ally, reflecting truth and illuminating the path. Neglect it, and the mirror clouds, leaving the seeker to stumble in familiar shadows. The choice to see, to observe, to act with awareness, this is the first mastery on the journey to awakening. Clinging is heavier than any chain, yet it is often invisible. Comfort, old habits, familiar patterns, and even fear wrap around the spirit like a soft cloak, hiding the path to freedom. The mind convinces itself that holding on is safety, yet in truth, it slows the flow of energy, clouds perception, and stagnates the awakening that waits quietly within. Shaolin wisdom teaches that true liberation begins with letting go, not in grand gestures, but in small, deliberate acts. A thought released without judgment, a resentment set aside for a single moment, a fear faced instead of avoided. These are the bricks of freedom. Each act of letting go strengthens the spirit, like water shaping stone over time. Resistance, by contrast, hardens the mind. It convinces the seeker that stability lies in repetition and familiarity, when stability is born in movement and surrender. Attachment distorts perception. We mistake the comfort of routine for mastery, the safety of habit for progress. Yet the soul knows that growth requires fluidity, a willingness to release what no longer serves, even if it is painful or uncomfortable. Shaolin masters speak of discipline not as force, but as alignment, aligning actions with the rhythm of the universe, letting go when the current moves and embracing stillness when it asks. The awakening that is denied by attachment is subtle but profound. It whispers in moments of hesitation, in decisions delayed, in fear that keeps the hand from reaching outward or inward. By observing, by practicing small acts of release, the seeker learns the rhythm of letting go, the art of movement without grasping. In these quiet, disciplined acts, the spirit finds clarity, energy flows freely, and the path unfolds. Stagnation fades when the heart unbinds itself from comfort and fear, even for a single step, and begins to move with the pulse of life itself. Time slips quietly when the mind is scattered. Distractions come in many forms: noise, endless tasks, fleeting desires, but all share one purpose: to steal attention from the present moment. Each fragment of focus lost is energy diverted, a step away from clarity and inner alignment. In these final days of September, when the spiritual currents are strongest, even small lapses can prevent the breakthrough that waits patiently for the prepared seeker. Shaolin teachings emphasize presence above all else. The mind is like a mirror. When clouded by distraction, it cannot reflect truth. Small, repeated interruptions, checking messages, succumbing to fleeting impulses, following every passing thought, gradually erode discipline. The energy that could be used to deepen awareness, to face hidden shadows, or to strengthen inner mastery dissipates unnoticed. Over time, the seeker wonders why progress stalls, never realizing that the thief has been silent all along. Discipline is not mere restriction, it is the careful guarding of attention. Ancient masters trained in environments far less forgiving than ours, yet they found freedom in focus. They knew that control over the mind is the root of control over life itself. Even minor moments of intentional focus, practiced consistently, build resilience and clarity. They transform the mind from a scattered stream into a steady river capable of cutting through illusions and awakening the spirit. In these final days, clarity is more than insight, it is power. Each moment surrendered to distraction is a moment the spirit is denied its full expression. Observing impulses without following them, returning attention gently but firmly to what matters, and protecting energy from dilution. These are the acts that allow breakthroughs to emerge naturally. The silent thief can only prevail where vigilance is absent. The disciplined mind, even amid chaos, becomes a sanctuary where awakening can finally take root and grow. The body carries the spirit as the vessel carries water. When the vessel is cracked, even the purest water leaks away. Neglecting health, rest, or energy is not merely a physical oversight. It is a subtle barrier to spiritual progress. The mind may seek insight. The soul may long for awakening, yet a tired, unbalanced body cannot support either. Energy drains unnoticed through poor habits, sleepless nights, and unchecked stress, leaving the seeker fragmented and vulnerable. Shaolin philosophy teaches that body and mind are inseparable partners. Strength in one without harmony in the other is like a tree with deep roots but a broken trunk. It cannot flourish. Physical discipline, mindful movement, proper rest, and nourishment are not acts of vanity. They are the rituals that sustain awareness and sharpen perception. Every stretch, every controlled breath, every moment of rest aligns energy, clears stagnant patterns, and prepares the vessel to receive higher guidance. Neglect creates hidden obstacles. Fatigue blurs judgment, irritability clouds reflection, and subtle tension stiffens the flow of spirit. The seeker may pursue meditation or study with dedication, yet the disconnected body resists, dragging progress into slow erosion. Awareness becomes shallow, insight fleeting, and even minor distractions feel overwhelming. True mastery arises from integration. Shaolin masters rise before dawn to train the body with as much care as the mind. They honor meals, movement, and rest as sacred acts, recognizing that each choice affects energy, focus, and spiritual receptivity. Discipline of the body is a gateway to discipline of the mind. Attention to the physical self mirrors attention to inner states. In these final days, the temple of the body demands respect. Every step toward balance, every pause to restore energy, every act of mindful care strengthens the vessel that carries the spirit. Only when body and mind move in harmony does the path to awakening become clear and the spirit's energy flow reach its fullest expression. Awareness is not passive. True mindfulness lives in action, in the subtle choices made moment by moment. Each reaction, each impulse, each trigger is a teacher waiting to be noticed. The mind often moves swiftly, guided by habit and emotion. Yet the seeker who observes without judgment begins to see patterns hidden beneath the surface. These patterns, when ignored, quietly shape life, directing energy toward confusion and delay rather than clarity and growth. Shaolin wisdom teaches that mastery is measured not only by knowledge but by disciplined attention. Watching the arising of anger without following it, noticing envy without feeding it, feeling fear without surrendering to it, these acts are small yet profound. They prevent unconscious mistakes from taking root, preserving the delicate momentum of spiritual progress. Each moment of observation is a step toward freedom, a reinforcement of the inner path that leads beyond distraction and resistance. Mindfulness in action is simple yet demanding. It asks for patience, for gentleness with oneself, and for vigilance. The practice is not to suppress thoughts or emotions, but to witness them as they arise, to understand their source, and to choose responses that align with clarity rather than habit. Over time, this discipline transforms the mind from a reactive force into a conscious guide, capable of navigating even the most subtle disturbances with calm and precision. The power of this practice is cumulative. Each day, small acts of attentive observation shape character, refine energy, and strengthen connection to higher awareness. In the quiet moments before words are spoken, before actions are taken, the mindful observer holds the key to avoiding errors that could derail the path. The body, mind, and spirit align in harmony, each decision a reflection of intentionality, each moment a guardian of awakening. Through this, the seeker cultivates a presence that moves steadily forward, unwavering even in the currents of distraction, desire, and uncertainty. Silence carries a power that noise cannot reach. In solitude, the mind slows, the heart opens, and the whispers of the spirit grow audible. True awakening does not arrive amidst constant distraction or in the company of endless opinions. It arrives in the quiet moments when the self is fully present, undiluted by the world. Yet many fear aloneness, mistaking it for emptiness or loneliness, and in doing so, they miss the subtle guidance waiting within. Ancient masters understood that the deepest insights come when one turns inward. Shaolin teachings speak of retreat, not as withdrawal, but as preparation, a conscious stepping aside from the currents of life to strengthen the vessel of mind and spirit. Solitude is a mirror in which the seeker confronts illusions, observes hidden patterns, and hears the faint calls of purpose. Without it, awareness remains shallow, and lessons that could awaken clarity pass unnoticed. Avoiding solitude now carries subtle consequences. The noise of routine, the pull of comfort, and the fear of facing inner truths act as barriers, keeping essential messages veiled. Each unobserved thought or ignored feeling becomes a seed of distraction, delaying understanding and obscuring direction. Solitude, when embraced with discipline, becomes a crucible in which the spirit is refined, in which clarity sharpens, and in which energy aligns with intention. Even brief moments of conscious aloneness, pausing before sleep, walking alone in nature, sitting in silent reflection, carry immense power. They teach patience, deepen perception, and reveal truths that chatter and busyness cannot reach. Through disciplined solitude, the seeker learns to listen to the rhythm of the inner world, to discern between fleeting impulses and guiding truths, and to cultivate a presence that stands steady even in chaos. In this quiet, the spirit awakens, and the path forward becomes unmistakably clear. Comfort is alluring because it whispers of safety, yet it rarely fosters growth. True mastery, ancient teachings remind us, is forged not in ease but in the fire of challenge. Discomfort arrives in many forms: physical strain, emotional tension, the confrontation of fear or doubt, but each instance carries a lesson hidden beneath its resistance. Avoiding it may bring temporary relief, yet it leaves the spirit soft, untested, and unprepared for the currents of awakening. Shaolin philosophy embraces discomfort as a guide, a teacher, and a forge. The body pushed to its limits during training strengthens the mind. The mind confronted with uncertainty strengthens the spirit. Each challenge, when faced with awareness and discipline, cultivates resilience and clarity. Avoidance, by contrast, builds fragility. Small acts of evasion accumulate, creating invisible barriers that later seem insurmountable. Discomfort is also a mirror, reflecting attachments, fears, and patterns that have gone unnoticed. When the seeker leans into it with calm observation, the resistance itself becomes a doorway. Enduring tension, whether physical or emotional, teaches patience. Standing in uncertainty teaches courage. Sitting with inner unease teaches clarity. These are the silent victories of practice, subtle yet transformative. The path of awakening is rarely smooth. It asks for endurance in moments when ease tempts surrender. Discipline is not punishment, it is alignment, a conscious choice to meet what arises instead of fleeing from it. By embracing discomfort, the seeker refines attention, strengthens energy, and deepens connection to self. Growth becomes a lived experience, not a distant idea. In the quiet acceptance of challenge, the mind steadies, the spirit sharpens, and the inner fire burns brighter, guiding each step along the path to awakening. The body and mind carry a subtle language that speaks in whispers rather than words. Energy shifts, sensations, and fleeting impressions are the signals of the deeper self, guiding the seeker toward clarity, purpose, and awakening. Yet when the mind is cluttered or distracted, these signals go unnoticed, lost amid noise and habit. Ignoring them now, especially in moments of heightened spiritual potential, risks missteps that can slow or even reverse progress. Ancient wisdom teaches that intuition is not random. It is the voice of accumulated awareness refined by practice and discipline. Shaolin masters learn to listen to the body, the breath, and the heart, recognizing patterns invisible to the ordinary mind. They cultivated sensitivity to subtle currents of energy, knowing that each sensation, each inner nudge carries meaning, Responding consciously to these signals strengthens alignment, while neglect allows confusion and error to take root. Energy alignment is both practice and awareness. Daily attention to posture, breath, movement, and mental clarity tunes the inner compass. When energy flows without blockage, intuition sharpens naturally. When energy is scattered or ignored, insight becomes clouded, and decisions may lead away from the path rather than toward it. The smallest misalignment, repeated over time, can quietly divert progress, creating unseen obstacles that later appear insurmountable. The path of mastery calls for deliberate attunement, pausing to notice subtle sensations, observing patterns of thought and feeling, and responding with clarity rather than reaction. This conscious awareness bridges body, mind, and spirit, turning fleeting impressions into reliable guidance. Each moment of attention strengthens intuition, cultivating a steady inner light that illuminates the way. In this delicate harmony, the seeker learns to move with the currents of life rather than against them, navigating challenges with grace and maintaining the flow of awakening even amid uncertainty. Every choice carries weight, even those that seem insignificant. A single word spoken without awareness, a moment of impatience, a fleeting thought left unchecked, each creates a ripple that spreads far beyond the immediate moment. In the quiet rhythm of daily life, these ripples accumulate, shaping the trajectory of the spirit toward either growth or stagnation. The most subtle decisions often prove the most powerful. Ancient teachings remind us that mastery is cultivated in the ordinary, not only in extraordinary acts. Shaolin philosophy emphasizes that discipline and awareness in small matters strengthen character, sharpen perception, and align energy. Each conscious choice reinforces the inner path, while unconscious actions quietly divert the seeker from clarity and purpose. The ripple of these decisions is felt in the mind, in relationships, and in the subtle currents of energy that guide awakening. In the final days of September, this principle holds heightened significance. Time itself seems to pulse with intensity, offering opportunities to deepen practice, refine awareness, and act with deliberate intention. Neglect, hesitation, or mindless repetition now can set patterns that linger long after the month ends. Conscious choices, even simple ones, pausing before reacting, reflecting before speaking, honoring the body and mind, become acts of spiritual cultivation, each reinforcing momentum and alignment. The practice is gentle but exacting. Awareness must be present at every step, attention must be disciplined, and the mind must remain anchored to intention rather than impulse. By observing the ripple of choices, the seeker learns that awakening is not a single event, but a tapestry woven from countless small decisions. Each moment becomes a chance to expand consciousness, to strengthen clarity, and to move closer to mastery. The path unfolds through these ripples, and careful, conscious action ensures they carry the spirit forward rather than allow it to drift aimlessly. The greatest mistake is rarely dramatic. It is subtle, quiet, and persistent. The neglect of discipline, mindfulness, and honest self-reflection. Each skipped moment of awareness, each small act left undone, quietly erodes the momentum of awakening. Spiritual growth is not a single event, but the accumulation of these moments shaped by clarity, courage, and consistent inner practice. Awakening asks for more than desire. It asks for presence. It calls for the willingness to face discomfort, to observe without judgment, and to act with intention, even when the path feels uncertain. The final days of September are a threshold, offering opportunity and warning in equal measure. Vigilance now preserves the energy, insight, and alignment needed to move forward without stumbling. Reflect quietly on the choices you make each day. Honor the small rituals of awareness, the pauses that allow observation, and the moments of courage that turn discomfort into mastery. These are the acts that shape your path, moment by moment, ripple by ripple. The path is open, the tools are within your grasp. Discipline, mindfulness, and honesty with oneself are the keys to unlocking the next stage of awakening. Approach each day as a practice and each challenge as a teacher. In this way, the spirit moves steadily, with clarity and grace, toward its fullest potential. Thank you for walking this path with us. If you found guidance here, join our community at Shaolin Soulfire. Subscribe and continue to explore the teachings that strengthen the mind, body, and spirit. Carry this wisdom into your daily life and let it illuminate each step of your awakening journey.